I'm here with Dave Risch, head coach of the Cougar cross country teams. Today we are looking back at the first meet of the season, the Elmhurst Earlybird Invitational on Friday. And Dave, it was a pretty good day for your runners. A little bit humid, but definitely not overwhelming, and no storms this year, which was a good thing. Also a lot of excitement from your team with a lot of runners making their Cougar debuts.
Yeah, that's right. About half of our team was running their first collegiate race. So that's always an exciting thing, and we really try to recognize that. It takes a lot of courage and certainly a lot of hard work to prepare for college running, and so for those athletes, I tip my hat, and it's kind of a special day.
All right. Let's begin by talking about the women's side, and looking at the results. It was easy to see the top performance of the day. Kayla Konau finished 5th overall out of about 130 runners. She set a PR in the 4K by, I believe it was 45 seconds.
That's exactly right. You hit all the stats right on. She really ran well. It was a humid day, and this course is slow, but she went out and ran very well. She ran with sort of the top group of runners for about the first kilometer or so, and came very close to even splitting. She was about 10 seconds slower in her second 2K than she was on her first 2K. But that's pretty good for the first meet and for the hot conditions. And the big thing we took out of it was that she ran 45 seconds, as you said, 45 seconds faster than last year. And so that's a really good sign, and we're really excited to see where that's going to take us as we move into the 6K races.
All right, now your second and third place finishers were a pair of newcomers. Talk about their first time efforts.
Yeah, Danielle McCormick, we're really excited to have her commit to coming to Concordia. She's been doing a great job for us. She had a good first meet. I know that it's just sort of a peek at what she's capable of doing. But she ran as our second runner, and Miriama was not too far behind her. And Miriama is a transfer student, and we're expecting big things from both of those two runners. And then right behind them, about 30 to 60 seconds, was Kelly Guastella and Sonia Sorensen. So overall, I thought our athletes did well, but it's certainly not the end point. It's just the starting point, and we're excited to see what the future 2.5 months is going to bring.
All right, turning to the men, I would say that the group that you had running on Friday, that looked to me to be one of the largest representations that our men's side has had in a few years. I don't think I even counted it up, but I'm guessing there had to be about 15 or 16 out there.
Yeah, we had actually, I think we had 18 that competed, and you know, much like their coach, the team is getting bigger, and I'm getting bigger along the waistline. But they're definitely the biggest group that we've had to work on the men's side, and it was a good first meet for them. I think that some people were very pleased with how they ran. Some were a little disappointed, but again, it's the first meet, and it's sort of the watermark or the benchmark point where we sort of start measuring things out. And you know, we don't expect to start off on top. We wouldn't want that. So this gives us a good starting point for the guys.
Dave, if I recall correctly, I believe a few of your men. We talked a few minutes ago about some running their first collegiate meets. I believe you even had a couple that were not runners in high school, so they were basically running their first, I guess you would say, competitive meet.
Yeah, we had, I think, maybe 3 males and maybe 2 or 3 females that were running their first cross-country meet ever. So that's really an exciting thing too, and they're always really nervous about running that first meet. But afterwards, you know, talking with them one-on-one, I think there's a certain amount of joy, and kind of knowing that they set a goal and they stepped up and really performed to the best of their ability. And it's really enjoyable for me to work with those athletes because we can really see a lot of improvement from them because they're newer to the sport. And so there are many instances where we've had athletes take off maybe 2, 3, even 4 minutes during the course of a season because, again, they're just kind of learning and experiencing the event. Liz Dornbush is a perfect example of that. She was kind of projected to run about 26 minutes in this first meet. She wound up running in the low 22-minute range. So that was a huge improvement over where she was running last year.
All right, and even on the men's side, a lot of your first-time runners, they've got some good mentoring right there on the team. As a matter of fact, the first 3 men's finishers for you were guys that are returning this year and are going to be among your leaders, Josh Warren, Ryan Weslow, and Jerry Williams.
Yeah, most definitely. Josh probably played pretty conservatively in this first race. He's got a little more speed, and we're working on the endurance aspect of it, and especially the pacing in the longer races. But he came on really strong in the last half of last year and wound up being our top runner in every race, and or actually our second runner behind Christian Sorensen. We expect him to be, up near the top, and Ryan Weslow's been training right with him. So I think those two make for a good duo at the front of the pack for us. And then Jerry Williams and John Hoffman and Ted Fisher, are kind of coming up. We want to kind of narrow that gap a little bit with those fellows.
All right, the Cougars are back in action this Friday. Tell us a little bit about the Aurora Spartan Invitational, which you'll be competing in.
Yeah, the Aurora Invitational is a nice course. It's pretty heavily wooded, and dependent on how the course has handled the water the last few weeks. We've had a lot of rain, and last year they had to change the course because of flooding, and I kind of suspect this year they'll probably do the same. But it's a legit course. It's a full 6K and 8K. It'll be a good test for us, especially those 14, 15 new runners to the program who have not run a 6K or an 8K. It'd be a good test for them and kind of a good starting point, measuring point to see where they're at and kind of gauge future improvement off of that. Okay.
Dave, thank you for your time this afternoon, and best of luck to you and your team as you prepare for Friday, and hope everybody has a great race out at Aurora.
Thank you, Jim, and go Cougars.